Natalia Bonner. Welcome back. I'm so excited to be here today and share this really fun, really simplistic quilt. So this is actually one that my daughter Chesney made. So it's totally not perfect. It's something that a kid made. She actually made it a few years ago when she was maybe 10 or so. So this is an older quilt that, let's just say, based on how imperfect it was pieced, it took me several years to actually decide to quilt this quilt. But I'm so glad that I did. Now, over in our Piece and Quilt Academy, I do have a brand new exclusive video where I share more of my process. I go more in depth, talk to you about my process of quilting a quilt like this. We actually have over 80 videos over there in the Piece and Quilt Academy. They're all exclusive to the Academy. So if you have not stopped over there yet and you're looking for some inspiration, definitely hop over to our website and join the Piece and Quilt Academy. Our website is pieceandquilt.com. So a few items that I am using here today. I love quilting on my Gamma 22-inch machine. This is hand-guided quilting, and I do have my stitch length set at 12 stitches per inch. So I am stitching in the regulated mode. I am using one layer of the Quilter's Dream wool batting, and I'm actually using a nice green So Fine thread here on the top. So today we'll quilt just a couple of those fun blocks, and like I said, if you do want to see a more in-depth, more exclusive video, hop over to the Piece and Quilt Academy. But for now, let's hop over to my machine and let's get stitching. All right, let's quilt a couple of these fun blocks. So with most of my machine quilting, you're going to see that I will stitch in the ditch either first or after. I love the look of stitch in the ditch, and so it's something you'll see me do most often on my quilts. I am using my 4-in-1 machine quilting ruler here, and you can see that I have one of my Piece and Quilt pop socket ruler grips on my ruler to help me have something to hold on to. In this first block, I'm going to stitch out some straight lines, diagonal lines. To start out, because I've not done any marking, I'm using that marked line. There's a diagonal line that goes through the middle of the 4-in-1 machine quilting ruler, and I'm lining that up with my seam. By doing that, I know that I have my machine quilting ruler right on the angle that I want it. Now, on this block, I'm going to stitch some lines that are evenly spaced, a 1/2 inch apart, and also 3/4 of an inch apart. Just a fun way to add interest to quilt blocks. Adjust the spacing between your lines. I do show a lot more in depth into this process in the full video over in the Piece and Quilt Academy, and I also talk a lot about ruler work in my book, A Visual Guide to Creative Straight Line Quilting. It's a great place to start if you are interested in machine quilting, straight lines, and ruler work. So I'll work my way all the way across this block with those evenly spaced straight lines. Then in just a minute, we're going to move on to an awesome square spiral design. All right, so we're ready to start this block. I chose to quilt this design on this green block because it's more of a solid colored fabric. If I'm going to put a lot of effort and detail into a block, I want to make sure that I can see my quilting. There are fabrics and colors of fabrics that will just hide your quilting. So think about that before you start quilting. I'm going to start out by stitching an echo around the outside of the block that's 1/4 of an inch in from the outside. To do that, I'll hold my 4-in-1 machine quilting ruler, so the side of the ruler is right along the outside of my block. Now you can see how I'll work my way all the way around the block. Now when I get back to where I started, I'll stitch right up to my previous stitch line, then I'll stop and adjust and continue stitching those echoes. So I'm spiraling into the center of that block. Now the way that I have my camera here on behind my machine, it looks like you're standing behind the machine. but I'm actually holding the ruler close to my body. So you'll see as I get what appears to be here on the left side of the screen, the top of the block, I'll hold the ruler so that it's closer to my body. It's more comfortable to hold it that way. I know that I want my spacing to be about the width of my foot. That's a 1/4 inch ruler foot on my machine. So I can stitch up to that stitch line and then hold the ruler on the front side and just stitch that straight line right across. So I'll repeat that process, spiraling in all the way until I get to the center. I am using that Quilter's Dream wool batting hair on this quilt, so that's another reason why my texture is so awesome. I hope you have all found just a bit of inspiration from this fun video. I love how this quilt turned out. Something that may have been a disaster really turned out pretty cool. So thanks for joining me today. Make sure you do hop over to the Peace and Quilt Academy. Join the Academy today and start learning. We have over 80 machine quilting videos with 2 new videos added every single month. These are exclusive videos to the Academy subscribers only, and I'll show you how I completed this quilt. Have a great day, everybody.